Good morning, everybody, and I'm delighted to be here and presenting to you today. I'm Teresa Carney, and I'm an information officer with Mayo Citizens Information Service, and I've worked there for just over 10 years. In the presentation, I'm going to speak about our service and I suppose what we do and how we can assist people going through the process of applying for state entitlements. And I'm also going to give a brief overview of those entitlements. I suppose Mayo Citizens Information Service, what do? We provide a free, impartial and confidential information, advice and advocacy service to residents and visitors to County Mayo. And we have 5 offices across the county, here in Westport, in Castlebar, Ballina, Claremorris and Balmullet. And how do you access the service? Well, you can drop in. There's no appointment necessary. You can phone us or you can email us. Across the country, there are 42 services with 260 locations, so it's a nationwide service. And our service is funded by the Citizens Information Board. This is a picture of our family tree, and I suppose other organisations that are part of our family and our sister organisations. So at the very top you see the National Advocacy Service for People with Disabilities, and Claire O'Neill, the Senior Advocate, is with us today. We have MABS, the Money Advice and Budgeting Agency. We also have the Insolvency Service of Ireland. We have the Sign Language and Interpreting Service, which offers a service to those who have a hearing impairment. And then there's a really excellent website called assistireland.ie, which gives a comprehensive list of aids and appliances which can be very useful for people living with a disability. I suppose our main service provision is to assist the public in knowing and understanding their social and civil rights and entitlements, and we do this across a range of areas and topics. As you can see at the top, disability and illness, carers, people who were unemployed. We heard earlier about people trying to get back into employment who maybe have a disability. So over a range of topics and areas. But I suppose what do we do on a day-to-day basis? We provide information, advice across a range of topics. We provide that information and advice so people will have a good understanding of what they may be entitled to, will have all the information they need to make the best decisions for their particular situation. And we heard Michael earlier speaking about that it can be a very grey area sometimes, and sometimes you can be overloaded with information. But we would, work with people so that they have a good understanding. And I suppose information is power when you're making any of those kind of decisions. We provide a full advocacy service, and we achieve very positive outcomes for our clients. And that advocacy could be assisting somebody who has been refused a social protection payment, helping them through the appeal process. We can accompany people and represent them at social welfare oral hearings. We also do a lot around employment law, representing people at employment appeals tribunals. We also assist people filling forms, writing letters, making phone calls around their situation. We'd heard earlier about policy and social policy, and we would also have a remit that when we in our work see situations which are unfair, and I know people who live with a disability, there is a lot of unfairness there, but we do have a responsibility to report through our social policy system those unfairnesses, whether it's around social protection, payments, difficulty accessing payments or services, that's part of our remit as well, and one that we really engage with and see as a very important part of our work. The payments that people with a disability may be entitled to. And I suppose their payments, maybe you're all very familiar with, for children under 16, the domiciliary care allowance. For people over 16, they may then have an entitlement to a disability allowance payment. Somebody that's giving full-time care and attention may have an entitlement to either carer's benefit or carer's allowance. There are other payments with regard to tax exemptions if you're having vehicles adapted for people who suffer with a disability. But I suppose around all of those payments and accessing those payments, there's a huge amount of paperwork. And we heard about bureaucracy earlier, and that takes on a life of its own. So too can paperwork. And a lot of our clients would find, making applications, filling forms, it can be particularly complex. And we would encourage people to come to our service to seek information or advice in, going through that whole process of applying for payments, ensuring that people, we help people to ensure that they make the strongest case possible when they're making an application for a particular payment or service. Sometimes people can be a bit overwhelmed with all of the paperwork, whereas we would deal with that on a day-to-day basis, so we can be there as a supportive role. So we would just encourage people to come to us. It may be just for information, or it may be a more long-term query where we're taking people through an appeals process and hopefully to a positive outcome in their situation. Okay. We also have extra services, and I am conscious of time, but I don't see Willie waving at me, so okay, I thought I'd escaped. I was doing really well. We also kind of have extra services which would be benefits checks, and that could be for people who are on a social welfare payment, but maybe there are additional benefits they would be entitled to, and sometimes people may be completely unaware of this. So we would look at people's particular situation and ensure they're claiming everything they're entitled to. We also have a free legal advice clinic in our Castlebar and Ballina office, and that's one evening per month. Now that's by appointment only. But as I said, if you're accessing our offices, you can just drop in or, with no appointment, or phone us. Our contact details, we have an office in Castlebar and Cavendish House, in Ballina and Dillon Terrace, in Claremorris in the Curran Centre, in Westport and James Street, and Balmullet on Main Street. Now I do have leaflets with our contact details which I can leave here for people, so you don't need to try to jot down the things. I'm just conscious I just want to move through the slides. Another way of contacting us or getting information is on our website, citizensinformation.ie, and it's a really good website, and I would say that because it's ours, but it is a very accessible website. It's got a lot of documents there around any situation people may find themselves in, from disability to family issues, employment and so on, and they're easy documents to access, and they link you to other websites which may give you additional information. We also have a low-call number which is available, and it is on that leaflet, which you can ring after normal working hours, so between 6 to 8 in the evening if other commitments prevented you accessing services during the day. There are copies, and I have them there, so people can maybe get them during the coffee break if that's all right. Okay, so look, that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope it's been useful. I'd like to thank Willie again for inviting me to present today, and thanks to Willie and all the team for organising this conference. And you know, I know it's going to be really worthwhile, and there's some great workshops in the afternoon, so I hope you all have a really good day. So thanks a million.